All right, and we are live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we got a lot to catch up on in our live stream. Okay, we got 2 weeks of developments in crypto to talk about all in this episode. So you're going to want to patch in and hang on for dear life because there's a lot to cover. The first thing we're talking about is the new rollout from the central bank that looks bad for crypto. Okay, we're talking about that, why that's important, why you should understand that. We're going to look at a lot of other things that have happened in the space since our live stream that we would normally have done a week ago, but we did not have a live stream last week. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory. On this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel. And if you want to know how to become a blockchain master, step-by-step, start to finish, then definitely head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. So we got people jumping in the chat here. We've got Automatic Beats, David Stone, Above Realty, Radislav, hope I'm saying that right, Greg, Mike Solomon, welcome, Milan. All right, so let's jump into this. We got a lot to cover in this episode like I was talking about. But let's begin with the latest rollout from the central bank that looks like it could be bad for crypto, okay? At least on the surface, all right? We'll kind of dig into that and talk about the details and see how this will actually affect the space. But so first of all, let me set the stage for this, right? So you have to think about what the fundamental value propositions of cryptocurrency are, okay? One of those is borderless real-time payments, okay? That can be made very fast with settlement. That's one of the biggest problems with financial systems right now. The legacy financial systems is like if you ever write a check, it takes a long time for that to clear. If you do a debit card transaction, it takes a long time for that to clear. Wire transfers, anything like that, okay? This is one of the reasons that we've seen stablecoin adoption kick up like crazy if blockchain technology, cryptocurrency over the past few years, all right? Despite, cryptocurrency going down over time, we see lots of stablecoin adoption continue to take off even in the midst of the bear market. And a lot of people say, well, duh, because people are stopped speculating in cryptocurrency prices, they want to be in stablecoins. I get that. But there's also undeniable utility value of stablecoins to provide this fast settlement with real-time payments that is really lacking in a traditional financial system, okay? Because of all the fat that is underneath the hood of that legacy system. Now, for a long time, we've been talking about the central bank's role in the crypto space, all right? Now, I'm not talking about macroeconomics and the money supply and inflation, all type of stuff. I'm talking about the actual technology itself, the possibility of central bank digital currencies on the horizon, okay, as a competitor to decentralized stablecoins and other cryptocurrencies in the space. But one development that's been in the works for some time now that we have a release date for, okay, is actually the FedNow payment system, okay, which is going to be coming sometime in 2023. Looks like, some estimates in July. Okay, so what is this and why could it potentially be bad for crypto? So basically, this is an answer to that problem of fast settlement, okay, quick clearing, all right, where you have and 24/7 working access to this type of thing. So that's really what this is. So, if you're not familiar with basically how the traditional financial system works, okay, anytime you do something like write a check, all right, you put your name on the check, you tell who it's going to go to, and you deposit it in another bank. It's not like they just send money from, at least in the United States, it's not like they just send money from one bank directly to another, right? They don't just somehow drive a truck from one place to another, all right? I know you see those armored cars and stuff. That's not what it's for, okay? Really what's happening is those banks are connected by a central bank, and you have a lot of clearing that takes place behind the scenes, okay? And a lot of that, it facilitates that intrabank connectivity, but it's really slow, okay? It's really slow. So this is an answer to some of that. So let's say you try to do that and you had a bank holiday. Well, you got to tack on an extra day, all right? What if you want it to happen after hours? What if you want it to happen 24/7? Well, that's what this is an answer to. Now, this potentially, is competitive with a lot of the value proposition of the crypto, like I was talking about before, with, quick settlement, around the clock availability, not having to wait for things to have total finality of each transaction. So that's what is a little tricky about something like this. Now let's talk about the flip side of the coin, which is there'll be other people saying, well, that's stupid because this is really the antithesis of many values of crypto, which are other benefits like decentralization, okay, trustlessness, transparency, all right, and the ability to sort of remove yourself from the traditional financial system. I get that, but when we're talking about mainstream use cases, all right, that can actually get normal everyday people to get benefits out of crypto that they can't get somewhere else, okay, then this is like literally in direct competition with that use case. Now, do I think this is like a death knell for all of crypto or anything like that? This says, oh, now cryptocurrency is completely valueless and useless. No, I don't think so at all. But it is a natural, competition to a pretty big use case for crypto right now, which is get those fast payments, which is one of the biggest things that we're actually using crypto for, even when crypto prices are not going up, right? Because there's lots of different use cases for crypto that have taken off. One of them is financial speculation when prices are going down. Most people aren't really doing that because it's hard for them to make money. They're not like, they're probably going to get wrecked by trying to short assets, and try to trade chopping markets. It's a lot easier to just buy things in a bull market and, trade that way while things are going up because everybody looks like a genius in a bull market. It's a lot easier to make money. But despite, the prices going down, all these other financial services that we have, are still valuable, like stable coins. So anyways, this doesn't have the decentralization, doesn't have the ability to do things with DeFi, you know what I mean, once you have this cryptocurrency. So there's still a ton of value left over in the crypto ecosystem, but this is something that you have to pay attention to because it is coming. It looks like it's coming in 2023. And yeah, we'll provide more updates on that whenever it is live and we are fully rolling. All right, so let's look at a couple of other things. A lot of other things. Again, we normally do these live streams every Monday now. Okay, about this time, usually a little bit earlier. We were doing things, every business day, so Monday through Friday. We've kind of gone down to one stream per week because the space is a little bit quieter. I had some extenuating circumstances that prevented me from joining the live stream last week. So thanks for your patience, everybody. Thanks for everybody show back up this week. We should be back on our normal schedule, with maybe the exception of the holidays coming up. I'll provide an announcement about that ahead of time. But let's look at a bunch of other stuff. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. In case you haven't seen, kind of go through these one by one here. Uniswap has finally rolled out complete support for NFTs. Okay, so NFTs are fully live on Uniswap. Starting today, you can trade NFTs across major marketplaces to find more listings and better prices. Okay, they're also airdropping $5 million in USDC to historical Genie users. Okay. So Uniswap acquired Genie. We talked about that whenever it happened on this channel, but now we have this fully integrated into the Uniswap platform. Okay. NFTs are definitely here to stay. We've seen, support for Instagram and NFTs, rollout recently. I made a video talking about that. You definitely want to check that out if you haven't already. People know that NFTs are here to stay. There's a ton of money flowing through the NFT space for issuing NFTs and also swapping them. You can look on chain and see how much money but OpenSea made in 2020 and 2021 with their NFT services. And you have lots of other people who are trying to get a slice of that pie to get some of that market share. And Uniswap is, no exception. So, this could definitely lead into one of the next things, which is for a long time, people have been talking about Uniswap and when are they going to turn on a fee switch? Okay. When are they going to let Uniswap token holders actually start getting money back? Not money back, but start earning part of the revenue from Uniswap. Okay. So that is a governance proposal that's been live on the Uniswap governance forum that you definitely want to keep an eye on. And let me talk about why this is so important, okay? Because this is a huge part of token utility. All right. So one of the reasons that we see, cryptocurrencies go down, okay, is because, for lots of reasons. All right. So, one of them is if you had a cryptocurrency that was going to appreciate in price, all right, the coin itself, the principal, that's what I'm going to talk about, the actual price of the coin appreciate in value over time and could pay you yield, right? Then why on earth would you ever sell that, even if crypto, entered into a bear market like it is now, right? So, we start to see those dynamics a little bit with staking coins that have fundamental value into the ecosystem itself. And what I mean is something that has a reason why you would keep holding it because it's going to continue to pay that. And there's a good reason why you would do that. And this is an example. Okay. So let's talk about Uniswap as a trading platform where you can swap tokens on it, if you could buy the Uniswap token, be a holder, and then as a part of that process, it's not just the value of the governance where, you're empowered to just vote on Uniswap proposals, okay? A lot of the criticisms of governance tokens is that's not really valuable. Like, it's cool to want to, vote on stuff, but you could just buy your way into, high influence and then just sell your tokens, whatever you want to get done. I realize you could program in, like, having to hold them for a certain amount of time to get that amount of influence. I get it, yada, yada, yada. But there's a much bigger incentive, right, to just have something that can give token holders revenue, all right? And so there's been lots of like back and forth, debates on this about, this turning the Uni token into security, et cetera, which there's some people might argue right now that it already is that. But we do see a push for Uniswap governance to actually make the token pay part of the fees back to the token holders. And why this could be such a big deal is if this is actually implemented properly and it could actually work. These are the type of things where, you could actually see cryptos provide a lot of value that could continue to just accrue value over time, despite what cryptocurrency markets are doing, okay? So, we've already got some examples of this, all right? We've already got some examples of this. So again, also the tokens that I'm talking about in this video, this is not financial advice. I'm telling you to buy these tokens because of any of these reasons. All right. But if you look at tokens like GMX, okay, so GMX is a similar type of thing. This is a exchange on Arbitrum ecosystem where you can, do a lot more advanced trading like you might do on a centralized exchange, okay, but do it in a completely decentralized way. So why is this such a big deal? Well, look at the price. Well, you can do exactly what I'm talking about with GMX on their exchange, where you can do things where you can earn quite a bit of yield. For that actually comes from usage of the application, not just an inflationary yield. So you have yield farming in DeFi essentially, where you have a lot of people who are just staking tokens, and that app is really just like printing new money, you know what I mean, by issuing new tokens, and then your principal, the token you're staking, is actually going down if it's the same token, you know what I mean? But what this is doing is actually taking some of the activity from the application itself and actually just shipping that back to the token holders. In this case, people are staking it, all right, to the application itself. And so that gives a pretty big incentive to hold on to the tokens themselves. And so, I mean, if you look at the price of what this has done over the past, year, like this is November 2021, which was the absolute tippy top, okay, of the previous bull market, and then what it's done since that time. I mean, this is not in crazy price appreciation, right? But look what it's done relative to other cryptocurrencies. Like, what if you paired this against what happened with the Ether price over that period of time? Okay, this is majorly outperformed it. Okay, like we're basically at the same price now that it was, it's actually higher than it was at the top of the market even a year ago. And so that's an example of what can happen when you start to create cryptocurrencies that provide people a reason to continue to hold them rain or shine, because they're going to pay, some type of yield or have a pretty good incentive to appreciate in price beyond just like governing a protocol or something like that. So, we'll see what happens with the Uniswap fee switch, if it actually gets turned on or not. But if we can see that type of thing happen, Uniswap is the most popular applications in the entire blockchain, and it's going to continue to have people swapping tokens on it. That desire is never going to go away, even if that only went to stable coins over time. You know what I mean? So more projects like that getting the space is a way that we could actually have a crypto specific bull market emerge that is not completely fueled by financial speculation, right? Like if you see, things actually start to accrue value to the tokens themselves, and there's a good, reason to hold the token rather than somebody else is going to buy it later. There's like, stuff that you could do with it that might cause you to want to do it temporarily, but then dump the tokens later. Okay. But as a really strong, fundamental, long-term buy and hold incentive, more projects like that, could make, the entire space start to appreciate on its own merits rather than outside speculation. So speaking of that, speaking of GMX, GMX is an Arbitrum ecosystem token. Again, I'm not telling you to buy GMX, I'm not telling you to buy Uni tokens. This is not financial advice, but I am looking at, developments that could be good for crypto, that could actually help things appreciate in price on their own merits. But I do want to get a quick update on like the Arbitrum ecosystem, okay? If you don't know what it is, so Arbitrum is a layer 2 on Ethereum. Okay, this is basically where you create a second environment and you do transactions. It works kind of like a blockchain, but it's not a blockchain in and of itself, because it's tied to a different blockchain. So basically, people will talk about Ethereum being too slow, too expensive to use. And, you know, the merge didn't fix ETH gas fee problems, didn't make it faster. Well, that's what layer 2s are for. This is basically where you build a second environment where you can do those transactions, and that second environment is piggybacked on top of Ethereum itself. And that's exactly what Arbitrum is, in addition to Optimism and others, okay? And Arbitrum is where GMX lives, all right? So the transactions are faster, they are cheaper than base layer 1 Ethereum, but you pay the transaction fees in Ether itself. You just got to bridge over and use it. So anyways, the reason I want to bring this up is, you know, the Arbitrum ecosystem in terms of daily transactions is taking off, like pretty crazy, right? Here's where we were, you know, last November. Like here's a tippy top of the last bull market, and here's where we are now, okay? Just a year later, all right? So that's, let's see your daily transactions. Let's just see. Those are total daily transactions. Looks like about 25,000 all the way up to like 400,000. So yeah, that's a lot. Just do quick math here. I think it's 200 times. Let's see here, 25. Oh, sorry, not 200. 16 times, right? I meant to say 20, but I was a little off. Hold on. Yeah, 16 times the amount that we were even a year ago. So, you know, that's pretty nuts. So compare that to like layer 1 Ethereum. All right. And people will actually look at the Ethereum daily transactions chart and draw the wrong conclusions. So look at that been like since Ethereum compared to Ethereum. So here was Ethereum basically a year ago. All right, so about 1.1, 1.2 million transactions per day. And now we're down to about 962 million transactions per day. It's a difference of about 200,000 transactions per day. All right. A lot of people draw the wrong conclusions from this and say, oh, look, the Ethereum ecosystem's dying. People aren't actually, you know, doing anything on it. People are leaving Ethereum, blah, 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 blah. But that's not actually true, okay, because a number of those transactions are going to these ecosystems, okay? Now, it's true. Some people, like, there's going to be less people using stuff in a quieter market than there is a frothy bull market. That's totally true, but you have to account for some of this, right? So, you know, we're talking about the difference of 200, you know, difference of essentially 350-ish thousand transactions per day have moved up here, right? And you can't make that perfectly because some of those transactions get included in these blocks too, but let's just assume that, let's just be conservative and say, you know, 100,000 of those transactions moved up there. Well, it's still, you know, we're still not seeing the ecosystem like just decline like some people are saying. So layer 2 adoption is continuing to take off. It's cutting into some of the layer 1 transactions, but that's actually what you want, right? Like you want a lot of the activity to move to those layer 2s, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Okay, so let's look at a couple of other things that have popped up. I mean, so there's just so much. Let me just try to pick something here to talk about more. I mean, you know, we're talking about outside companies continuing to bet on crypto. We did see the news of the Stripe crypto on-ramp. All right. That's, you know, plug and play for anybody. All right. So this is pretty big. All right. So what is this? So what is Stripe? If you're not familiar with them, they're one of the biggest payment processors online. If they're not the biggest, I don't keep track of these types of things. But Stripe is huge. Okay. And essentially they released a widget that you can embed in your application on your website. Okay. to create your own custom fiat to crypto on-ramp. So basically, if you have a credit card or a debit card or a bank account, you can just add this and let somebody purchase crypto directly. So why is this huge? So let's say, so Stripe is really huge, like if you're trying to launch an app that accepts money, right? So let's say you create a mobile app or you create a website that charges people money. Like let's say that you did a subscription website, like a software as a service or something. Let's say that you, created, I don't know, anything, something crypto related. Let's say, an NFT drop, calendar or something, or like, NFT drop service that tells you about new NFTs at launch, right? And then people sign up and they have to pay. Well, most common method is people basically enter in their credit card. They get charged a monthly fee for that. Okay. So that's really popular for like Web 2.0 applications where you're creating something where people have to buy it, right? And you just use Stripe and you integrate that and it handles all that for you. Now, what if you wanted to create a crypto app, okay, that requires people to hold crypto in order to use your app, but you don't want them to go through the steps of like signing up for Binance or Coinbase or Kraken or whatever, right? And then having them essentially, I was going to say FTX, and then I had to realize, well, they're not going to sign up for FTX anymore. And then back to your app, and then create a wallet, blah, 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 blah. So what if you have a very simple onboarding flow where it's like, you've got them signed up, and then like step one is like, okay, you need a wallet. Okay, and then like 2 clicks, you can create you a wallet. And then, okay, you need crypto in this wallet. And this is the piece to do that. Basically, okay, just enter in your debit card. We need you to have $5 in this application to pay transaction fees. Okay, 2 clicks, put in your credit card. You've bought the $5 worth of crypto to pay transactions. Boom, your wallet's funded. Step 3, you open up your app and you can start using blockchain right now, like all inside the application. And that's what Stripe could potentially enable in this case, among many other things. That's just one idea that came to my mind as I saw this and why this could be such a big deal for essentially, blockchain apps that people are launching. Like if you're trying to launch a blockchain app and you need people to get funds into your space and you don't just want heavy crypto users who already have, a MetaMask wallet set up, but you need a new person, like this could be a huge way to essentially facilitate that process. Okay, so speaking of sort of these mainstream use cases and people getting in the space and NFTs and all that type of stuff, we did see Apple blocking Coinbase wallet app release, requesting 30% of all NFT transfer gas fees. That was pretty crazy. So if you're not familiar with this, Apple did come out with a clarification that it's like, hey, we're going to let you, sell NFTs in the App Store. That's okay. We just want a cut of everything. All right. Apple's been doing this for a long time. They're notorious for raising their fees, kind of getting you on the platform, and then increasing the rent, so to speak. So Coinbase Wallet is something that lets people buy and sell NFTs inside the application with their Coinbase NFT platform, and Apple has blocked the latest release from the App Store because they are demanding 30% of the proceeds for those transactions. Of the gas fee. Of the gas fee. That's crazy. Want to mark up gas fees in order to do that. So, this is kind of highlighting the further need for, decentralization and, competitive forces that can fix something like this. That being said, the Apple App Store is pretty big. That's going to be a hard one to compete with. Yeah, I get that. If people say peer-to-peer solves Apple's fee problem, you just got to get all those people who are heavily dependent on the App Store involved with, onto the peer-to-peer idea. Now, speaking of the gas fees, okay, and all that type of stuff, I did see this tweet from Vitalik. I think it was last week, and this is something that's true that I think a lot of people are overlooking. Okay, which is basically this. He put this out there, and this didn't really get a ton of attention, but I think it's true, right? So EIP 1559, the merge and wallet upgrades have drastically improved the user experience of sending Ethereum transactions since 2020. Basically, now I can just send a transaction, not fiddling around with all the wallet settings, and usually see if it's included with a few seconds. Now, if you haven't been in crypto for a long time, you're going to take this completely for granted, okay? Because what he's saying is, it used to be like, if you were trying to pay for Ethereum transactions, okay, first of all, like, you might open up your MetaMask and it's really confusing about how much the transaction is actually going to cost whenever you put it into the blockchain. There's all these settings that you could manually change. Your transaction might not get included, all right, many times. And the wallets themselves were so counterintuitive, really confusing. It was a pretty steep learning curve for new people. And this is something that we take for granted, but has actually gotten dramatically better since each of these respective rollouts have come out for Ethereum. And so I just want to highlight that. It's true. So, a lot of people are a little disillusioned with crypto because, we thought the world was going to change, tomorrow, and that, we're going to see mass adoption of blockchain overnight. Of course, that didn't happen. We're in this bear market now that has shaken a lot of people off the ride. But one thing that's really helpful to keep in perspective is how far things have actually come. Okay, despite that we're not quite, where a lot of people wanted to go in a matter of a year or so. Okay, but we're still a lot farther along than we were, and that's one pretty good example that you can take a look at. So we can also keep track of the, let's take a look what's going on with the Ether supply. Okay, so we know we did have the burn happen and then also the merge. Okay, so we're burning ETH whenever new transactions are created. We went up after the merge, and then we went down, and then we really went down with the FTX stuff, and now we're back up to slightly inflationary since the merge happened in September. Now, I said for months on this channel prior to the merge that ETH will likely be deflationary over long time frames, and it won't be just a straight shot downward. So, we have seen things be very volatile based on network activity. Okay, so we're now back up to slightly inflationary, since the merge happened. But what's really cool here is you can simulate proof of work, and here you can see where we would be if proof of work had not been turned on. We'd be up here. Compared to being basically more or less flat, right? You can sit here and say, oh, look at this line, like we're barely above this line, or like we're way above this line. But if you look at a bigger picture, like it's basically 0.007% inflation is basically no inflation, compared to 3.5% inflation with that current network activity. So I'm going to take this as a positive step in the right direction, even if it hasn't been completely deflationary on this, 4-month timeline, September, October, November, December. It's just 3-month timeline, right? So if you annualize that out, 0.07% inflation would be tiny on an annualized basis. So it's a step in the right direction for, having a long-term deflationary price, or not deflationary price, deflationary supply of Ether itself. So another important thing to understand is it only takes like a week, of really frothy on-chain activity to completely erase all this. And then over long periods of time, you would still see things be deflationary. And I think that's what we'll continue to see, are these kind of like volatile, trends that are more or less in the deflationary direction. Somebody's asking about Chat GPT. Yeah, we can talk about that for sure. So this is something you want to watch out for. I've got some videos about Chat GPT coming out later this week. All right, so definitely subscribe, turn on notifications. We're going to give some overview on what I think about Chat GPT. All right, and like the future of all the internet, including crypto and how it can affect crypto, especially Web 3.0 developers. And then also we got a full-length step-by-step tutorial showing you how to use ChatGPT because it actually can write code. So let's talk about it really quickly before we wrap up here. What is ChatGPT, unless you're not familiar? Well, basically, like, you might have seen this floating around online with Twitter. I posted a tweet thread about it the other day. Let me just pull up my tweets here. So basically, it's an AI. All right, it's a large it's a language model. Okay, so we've seen like we've seen, AI image generation explode over the past year with things like Stable Diffusion and like some of the improvements with DALL-E. I mean, Stable Diffusion really blew up because it was free to use. Okay. And now we're seeing sort of an answer for that with ChatGPT, which is basically an AI that will just like talk to you. So you have a chat box here. You can tell it, you can ask anything you want to, and it will just like have a conversation with you. So I can basically have it write code for me, which is pretty crazy. I can have it do a lot of stuff. Like I can have it say, like, I'll just do a demo. I'll say like, create an ERC20 token called my token with a symbol of MTK with a total supply of 1 million tokens without decimal places. And then please use, we'll say 18 decimals. Please use the Open Zeppelin library and Solidity version 0.8. Could not parse your authentication token. Okay, so I've got a problem with my login information for some reason, or my authentication for some reason. But let me just pull up a tweet thread. I'll just do a quick demo of that. You can go check this out on Twitter. I'll put a link to it in the live chat here. So basically, I got some screenshots of some examples I did before. You can definitely check out the video later this week. I'll give you a full demo on how it works. Basically, I make it write code for you, right? I had it code me a ERC20 token from scratch. It spit it out in like a matter of seconds. I had it create an NFT drop for me. Boom, done. Had it create DeFi scripts for me. Boom, done. All right. It can do things like find security vulnerabilities in smart contracts. All right. There's so much that it can actually do. Now, it's not perfect, but it is a game changer. Okay. So definitely want to check that out. My quick take on whether it's going to replace programmers. Is anybody's job safe? What does it mean for blockchain? Well, you're going to have to watch the video that's going to come out later in order to hear my opinion on that. So anyways, that being said, that's all I got for today. Great stream today, everybody. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Daily helps these videos out so that more people learn about blockchain. And, if you're as fast at this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you get my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you'd like those, you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you'll take a master shortcut entirely. I can show you master blockchain step-by-step from start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. Okay, you don't have to be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time.